Hello students, my name is Arshan and today we'll do the 18th chapter of your science textbook of NCERT for class 7th, and the name of the chapter is Wastewater Story Part 2. So students, in the previous part we have talked about water, that is our lifeline. We have talked about how wastewater could be reused. We also learned about sewage and its treatment. So now today let us begin our chapter with wastewater treatment plant, that is the treatment of wastewater. So students, in the treatment of wastewater, it involves physical, chemical and biological processes which remove physical, chemical and biological matter that contaminates the wastewater. So wastewater in the first stage is passed through bar screens so that the large objects like rags, sticks, cans, plastics, packets, napkins, etc. are removed, as you can see in this picture. Then the water goes to a grit and sand removal tank. The speed of the incoming wastewater is decreased to allow sand, grit and pebbles to settle down as shown in this figure. So then the water is allowed to settle in a large tank which is sloped towards the middle. Solids like feces settle at the bottom and are removed with a scraper. Students, this is the sludge. Now a skimmer removes the floatable solids like oil and grease. Water is so cleared that it is called clarified water, as you can see in this picture as well. Now the students, the sludge that we talked about, it is transferred to a separate tank where it is decomposed by the anaerobic bacteria. The biogas produced in the process can be used as fuel or can be used to produce electricity. Then air is pumped into the clarified water to help aerobic bacteria to grow. Bacteria consume human waste, food waste, soaps and all other unwanted matter that is still remaining in clarified water, as you can see in this picture. So students, after several hours, the suspended microbes settle at the bottom of the tank as activated sludge. The water is then removed from the top and the activated sludge is about 97% water. The water is removed by sand drying beds or machines, and dried sludge is used as manure, returning organic matter and nutrients to the soil. This treated water has a very low level of organic material and suspended matter. It is discharged into a sea, a river or into the ground. Nature cleans it up further. Sometimes it may be necessary to disinfect water with chemicals like chlorine and ozone before releasing it into the distribution system. So students, this was all about the water treatment plant. But what can we do to become an active citizen? So students, waste generation is a natural part of human activity, but we can limit the type of waste and quantity of waste produced. Often we have been repelled by offensive smell. The sight of open drains is disgusting as well. The situation worsens in the rainy season when the drains start overflowing. We have to wade through the mud pools on the road. Most unhygienic and unsanitary conditions prevails. Flies, mosquitoes and other insects breed in it. So, you can be an enlightened citizen and approach the municipality or the Gram Panchayat. You can insist that the open drains be covered. And if the sewage of any particular house makes the neighborhood dirty, you should request them to be more considerate about others' health. With the students, we are at another topic, that is better housekeeping practices. So, one of the ways to minimize or eliminate waste and pollutants at their source is to see what you are releasing down the drain. For example, like cooking oil and fats should not be thrown down the drain. They can harden and block the pipes. Now in an open drain, the fat clogs the soil pores, reducing its effectiveness in filtering water. So we should throw oil and fats in the dustbin. Do you know students that in the year 2016, the government of India has initiated a new mission known as Swachh Bharat, under which a lot of drives such as proper sewage disposal and providing toilets for everyone have been started. So now let us talk about sanitation and disease. Students, poor sanitation and contaminated drinking water is the cause of a large number of diseases. Let us look at our own country. A vast number of our people are still without sewerage facilities. So, there is a question, a very important question, that is, where do they relieve themselves? So, students, to answer that, a very large fraction of our people defecates in the open, on dry riverbeds, on railway tracks, near fields, and many a time directly in water. Untreated human excreta is a health hazard. It may cause water pollution and soil pollution as well. Both the surface water and groundwater gets polluted. Now, groundwater is a source of water for wells, tube wells, springs and many rivers, as you have learnt in chapter 16. Thus, it becomes the most common route for water-borne diseases. These diseases include cholera, typhoid, polio, meningitis, hepatitis and even dysentery. So students, there is a necessary requirement for alternative arrangement for sewage disposal. Let us discuss that now. To improve sanitation, low-cost on-site sewage disposable systems are being encouraged. Some of its examples are septic tanks, chemical toilets, composting pits. Septic tanks are very suitable for places where there is no sewerage system, for like hospitals, isolated buildings or a cluster of 4 to 5 houses. Some organizations also offer hygienic on-site human waste disposal technology. These toilets do not require scavenging, and excreta from the toilet seats flow through covered drains into a biogas plant. The biogas produced is used as a source of energy. So students, there may arise another question, that what about the sanitation at public places? So, in our country India, fairs are organized periodically. You might have also visited a fair. A large number of people participate in them. In the same way, railway stations, bus depot, airports, hospitals are very busy places. Thousands of people visit them daily, and thus large amount of waste is also generated here. So it must be disposed of properly, otherwise epidemics could break out. So the government of India has laid down certain standards of sanitation, but unfortunately they are not strictly enforced. However, all of us can contribute in maintaining sanitation at public places. We should not scatter litter anywhere. If there is no dustbin in sight, we should carry the litter home and throw it in the dustbin. So students, we all have a role to play in keeping our environment clean and healthy. You must realize your responsibility in maintaining the water sources in a healthy state. Now, adopting good sanitation practices should be our way of life. As an agent of change, your individual initiative will make a great difference. Influence others with your energy, ideas and optimism. A lot can be done if people work together. There is great power in collective action, students. As Mahatma Gandhi also once said that no one need to wait for anyone else to adopt a humane and enlightened course of action. So students, with this we are almost at the end of our chapter. In this chapter, we have learned a lot of things. We have learned that treatment plants reduce pollutants in wastewater to a level where nature can take care of it. We have learned that where underground sewerage systems and refuse disposal systems are not available, the low-cost on-site sanitation systems can be adopted. Byproducts of wastewater treatment are sludge and biogas. We have also learned about the open drain system, which is a breeding place for flies, mosquitoes and organisms which causes diseases. Also, we got to know that we should not defecate in the open, and it is possible to have safe disposal of excreta by low-cost methods. So students, it's time to perform some exercises based on this chapter. So let us perform these questions. So the first question is, describe the steps involved in getting clarified water from wastewater. So students, following are the steps that are involved in the purification of water. The first step is removing all the physical impurities like stones, plastic bags, cans, etc. It is done by passing the water through bar screens. The second step is the water is taken to grit and sand removal tank where impurities are removed by sedimentation. The third step is solid impurities and feces etc. are collected from bottom of water. These impurities collected are called sludge. And the fourth step is The clarified water is cleaned of other impurities by aerator and all disease causing bacteria are removed by chlorination. Let us move on to second question, that is, what is sludge and explain how it is treated. So students, sludge is the collected solid waste from the wastewater during the treatment in wastewater treatment plant. Sludge is decomposed in a separate tank by the anaerobic bacteria. Activated sludge is also being used as manure. It's time for another question, students. The next question is, untreated human excreta is a health hazard. Explain. So to answer it, untreated human excreta can cause a lot of health related problems. It pollutes water, air and soil. The polluted water contain disease causing bacteria which can spread epidemics like cholera, meningitis, etc. Another question, students, which is, name two chemicals used to disinfect water. So students, to answer this question, those two chemicals are chlorine and ozone. Now another question, that is, explain the junction of bar screens in a wastewater treatment plant. So students, we have learned this in our chapter as well, that bar screens clear the wastewater of all the physical impurities. Large size waste like napkins, plastics, cans, etc. are removed from the wastewater through the bar screens. Moving on to another question, that is, explain the relationship between sanitation and disease. So students, to answer it, sanitation and disease are related to each other. Sanitation involves proper disposal of sewage and refuse from house and public places. If sanitation is there, no disease will occur. But if sanitation is not there, various types of disease will occur and spread. So sanitation should be kept to avoid disease. Moving on to another question, that is, outline your role as an active citizen in relation to sanitation. So, my dear students, we have discussed that as active citizen, we should take care of our personal environmental sanitation. We should make people aware of the benefits of sanitation. We should help municipal corporation to cover all the open drains and remove disease causing substances thrown in open. With this, students, we have finished our chapter. I hope that you might have enjoyed this chapter. Also try to practice all these questions and also try to practice health and hygiene in your daily life as well. We will meet some next time with some another interesting chapter. Till then, bye bye.